Hey, 72 hours till freedom. The ethics charges about Trump and the concerns that are being expressed about him personally really, I think, are meaningless. And they don't get to the real nature of the presidency. It's okay to have ethics issues about a cabinet or a presidential appointment, but for the president himself, the voters elected him. They knew him, they elected him, they chose him. He was pretty thoroughly vetted during the campaign. There were $1.2 billion of negative ads rained down around his head. Everybody knew he was rich. Everybody knew that he was not going to put stuff in a blind trust. Everybody knew that he would continue to manage his business, or at least be partially involved. He even said he would give it to his family to run, and they elected him. So the ethics concerns are just not significant any more than they would be about an incumbent senator. Now, if an incumbent senator takes a bribe or a president takes a bribe, well, then that's a high crime and misdemeanor and needs to be prosecuted. But as a prophylactic issue about demanding that he abide by certain regulations that flow before he took office, I think that's absurd. I think the other thing we need to remember here is that the traditional solution to ethics problems of incoming officials is to put your investments in a blind trust. And that's fine if you're just a businessman who has passive investments or even somewhat active investments in various stocks and bonds. You can turn them over to somebody else who'll monitor the interest rate and look at the return and move your money around as best to your advantage, provided you don't know about it, a blind trust. But when your wealth comes from your own work and your own labor in a chain of hotels or of restaurants or various businesses, as Donald Trump's does, real estate, a blind trust doesn't do it. You give it in the hands of a trustee. How's he going to run a restaurant? How's he going to run a hotel and make sure that everything is fine? It's not a trustee. You need a whole management team. And the management team he trusts is his family. And I think it's fully appropriate in this situation for him to keep that stuff in his family, trusting them with it because of their ability. The other point I want to make is about the general issue of ethics vis-a-vis Trump. Come on. This is the most wealthy man ever to be president of the United States. Ironically, by the way, if I look back for a figure who might be as wealthy, I can think of only two, John Kennedy and George Washington, in terms of land and stuff like that. But in terms of Trump, he's one of the wealthiest. He is probably the wealthiest man ever to be president, and a $50,000 advantage or $100,000 advantage by getting a golf course situated in a better area because a foreign country wants to curry favor with him or something like that. He's not going to go out of his way to accommodate that. And if he does, that's a violation of law, if it were, and it would need to be investigated and handled. But to assume that he would take advantage of this and that, just like the Clintons did, is to assume that he entered the situation as poor as the Clintons were, with no source of income after she left the White House, except for the book deals, so they ended up doing a lot of larceny. But with Trump, I mean, the guy's worth $3 billion. I mean, how much is he going to steal? So I think that these issues are largely phony, and I think they're based on applying to Trump standards that are both inappropriate to an incoming president and to someone in the situation of Donald Trump. Thanks a lot for watching.